Okay, so we're going to pick up where we left off on taxes. Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, the thing that everyone dreads. Okay, so last time I was talking about this particular form here, 4852, and we're going to just go over definitions, things that you need to know that, I wish I knew a year ago. I wish I knew 10 years ago, actually. So we want to look up the definitions. So how did you determine line 7 and 8? These are the parts where, who has time to read the tax code? It's the most boring thing of your lifetime. I'm going to try to make it as less boring as possible, but no guarantees. So let's just jump right into it. So we have the pair provided 1099Rs. Line 8A is earnings from work, which does not constitute wages as defined in IRC, that's Internal Revenue Code, sections 3401A, 3121, and others. The amount on line 8A is not federally privileged, and I hereby dispute as being taxable under IRC sections 6047D and 3405E. So let's take a peek at all that good stuff right now. And you'll see for yourself. I'll read you the tax code and you can decide for yourself what the words that they define, what they mean. So this is 26 U.S. Code, subsection 3401A. Wages. So let's take a look at the definition of wages. For the purpose of this chapter, the terms wages means all remuneration. You can look up the word remuneration. This is something that people use every day, right? Yeah. They do this just to confuse you. Other than fees paid to a public official, that's an important key, a public official, for services performed by an employee or his employer, including the cash value of all remuneration, including benefits paid to in any medium other than cash. So if you keep that in mind, other than cash, except that such term shall not include remuneration paid. So you can go ahead and read that stuff. But let's just take a look at the term wages, shall we? Wages. For the purpose, the term wages includes tips received by an employee in the course of his employment. Such wages shall be deemed to be paid at the time a written statement including such tips is furnished to the employer pursuant to section blah, 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 blah. Okay. If no statement including such tips is so furnished at the time received. Okay. So that's sort of ambiguous, right? Okay, let's look up let's look up employee, shall we? The term employee includes an officer. Are you an officer? Employee. Oh, great, thank you. So the term employee means employee. Thanks so much. Way to clarify. Idiots. Or elected official of the United States. Are you an elected official of the United States? I bet you're not. A state. Now you got to look up the definition of what a state means. It's not what you think it means. Or any political subdivision thereof. Are you a part of a political subdivision? Is your job a political subdivision when you're washing cars or giving people French fries? Okay. Or District of Columbia, or any agent or instrumentality of any one or more of the foregoing. The term employee also includes an officer of a corporation. Now you got to look up the definition of corporation. We want to look up 26 U.S. Code, subsection 3121. The purpose of this chapter, the term wages means all remuneration for employment, including the cash value of all remuneration, including benefits, paid to any medium other than cash, except that such term shall not include, and then it gives you all the stuff that it doesn't include. Let's look deeper in the 26 U.S. Code, subsection 3121. We already went over it, wages. So if we go right down to employment, then this is the B section. For purpose of this chapter, the term employment means any service of whatever nature performed by an employee for the person employing him, irrespective of the citizenship or residence of either within the United States, or to, or on, or in connection with an American vessel or an American aircraft under a contract of service which is entered into the United States. B, or B, outside the United States by a citizen or resident of the United States as an employee for an American employer as defined in subsection H. Okay, so they set this up just to confuse you. Look at all this junk. All right, so I'm going to have to go all the way to the bottom to find more definitions. And luckily I highlighted it, but you really gotta go. We're looking for E, the definition of state. All right, here we go. E, state, United States, and citizen. For the purpose of this chapter, state. The term state includes the District of Columbia, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Guam, and American Samoa. Okay, now we know what state means. Chances are you don't live in the geographical region known as the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. Or the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico is not Puerto Rico, also, just saying. The Virgin Islands, Guam, American Samoa. United States. Okay, so what's the United States? The term United States, when used in a geographical sense, includes the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico. The Virgin Islands, Guam, and American Samoa. You just said that. So the state and United States means Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, Guam, and American Samoa. Huh. Interesting. Good to know. Let's move on. So if you keep scrolling down, you go to H, you'll find American employer. Let's look up the definition of American employer. For the purposes of the chapter, the term American employer means an employer, which is the United States. We already know what the United States are. We just found out it's, American Samoa. The Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, or any instrumentality thereof. An individual who is a resident of the United States. Are you a resident of what I just said? I don't think you are. You might be. A partnership if 2/3 or more of the partners are residents of the United States. A trust if all the trustees are residents of the United States. A corporation organized under the laws of the United States or any state. We already just told you what the states were. Remember? What's a state? The Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, the District of Columbia, the Virgin Islands, Guam, and American Samoa. Listen. So 3405E. 350, special rules for pensions, annuities, and certain other deferred income. So we want to find E, C, D, E. In general, except as provided in subparagraph B, the term designated distribution means any distribution or payment from or under an employer deferred compensation plan. Now, we already know what an employer is, right? So let's take a look. What's an employer? An employer is the person for whom an individual performs or performed any service of whatever nature as an employee of such person. Okay, that's vague. U.S. Code 6047. So we're looking up 26 U.S. Code 6047, information relating to certain trusts and annuity plans, and we want to look at D. So we're looking for D. Here's D. Okay. Reports by employers, plan administrators, etc. In general, the secretary shall, by forms or regulations, require that the employer maintain the plan administrator within the meaning of section 414 of a plan of a plan from the designated distributions as defined in sections 3405E may be made and Any person issuing any contract under the designated distributions as so defined may be made. Okay, what's a person? Treated as persons. The term person includes any governmental unit and any agency or instrumentality thereof. So if it doesn't include any other definitions by law, it excludes it. That's the law. You can go look it up. So we can't make any assumptions or add things onto it. So if the term person means a government unit, any government unit, ask yourself, are you a government unit? Moving on. Any person issuing any contract and may be made. Make returns or reports regarding such plan to the secretary, to the participants and beneficiaries of such plan, and to such other persons as the secretary may be regulations prescribed. No return or report may be required under the preceding sentence with respect to distributions to any person during any year unless such distributions aggregate $10 or more. Generally, this isn't going to apply to you based on the definitions we already went over. Remember how last time we talked about their legal right to ask on the 1040 form? So we were looking at the 6001, 6011, 6012A, and let's just take a peek at that. Okay, so this is all under Title 26. So Title 26 is the Internal Revenue Code laws, but they're really codes. 6001, notice or regulation requiring record statements and special returns. Every person, now we just went over what a person means. It's a government instrument, right? Let's double check. A person includes any government unit or any agency or instrumentality thereof. Every person, that's not you. You're not a person. According to the definitions, for any tax imposed on this title or for the collection thereof shall keep records, render such statements, make such returns, and comply with such rules and regulations as the secretary may from time to time prescribe. Whenever in the judgment of the secretary is necessary, blah, 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 blah. All right, let's see what it says in their legal right to ask in 6011. General requirement of return statement or list. When required by regulations prescribed by the Secretary, any person made liable for any tax imposed in this title or with respect to the collection thereof shall make a return or a statement according to the forms and regulations prescribed by the Secretary. I don't know who the Secretary, like the Secretary of State? It's pretty vague. Every person required to make a return or statement shall include therein the information required by such forms or regulations. Identification of a taxpayer. The Secretary is authorized to require such information with respect to persons subject to the taxes imposed by Chapter 21 or Chapter 24 as is necessary or helpful in securing proper identification. Okay, well, I don't know what any of this stuff is. You can go through that. What's next on the list? We have 6012A. General rule. So 6012A is persons, there's that word again, required to make returns of income. General return with respect to income taxes under title blah blah blah. I made the following. Every individual having for taxable year gross income which equals or exceeds the exemption amount, except the return shall not be required of an individual. All right, what's that? That's a lot. Who is not married, is not a surviving spouse, is not a head of household, and the taxable year has a gross income of less than the sum of the exemption amount. What's the exemption amount? But either way, under all this information, I mean, how does this apply to you? Right? Just based on their own definitions. The state, the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, the District of Columbia, the Virgin Islands, Guam, and American Samoa. Listen, I wouldn't know any of this stuff if it wasn't for this man here. Okay? So I highly recommend, this guy does not know who I am outside of me ordering the book and buying a t-shirt. He has no idea who I am. And I just want people to be free. I've said it a zillion times. And keep as much of your hard-earned cash as possible. I mean, this is ludicrous. We've been paying ignorance tax. And as you can see, this stuff is so hard to, it's so convoluted. It's so difficult to get through, and it just makes your eyes cross. But he highlights it. Buy the book, support people that are supporting freedom. And they went through it, unfortunately. The powers that be targeted him by targeting his wife, and they made the mistake of getting a public pretender, aka public defender. Now, once you hire a lawyer, you waive your rights. So it's important to learn the law in and out. This is, you should have learned all this. I said this before, but you should have learned this stuff in high school. You didn't, on purpose. They want you to stay dumb, ignorant, fat, stupid, lazy, all the rest. They want you to watch Netflix and consume their propaganda nonstop. Their propaganda is not helping you get free. It's not helping you enjoy your life. It's not helping you be happy. None of these things. Love, happiness, the rights to not feel like you're in trouble 24/7. I can go on and on. But ultimately, I hope this helped sort of clarify things for you, to not be afraid, because this is in black and white. Everything that you're doing, that I'm advising you, I want you to go do your diligence and look all this stuff up for yourself. Don't go on hearsay. You can, this is on the internet. You can find this very easily. Fortunately, I was set up with certain people that helped me, and I'm just paying it forward. And that's it. I want people to be free from tyranny. That's basically my goal. And I want to help as many people as possible. And all my content is free. If you feel like donating, I would love it, because, it's just me trying to do the right thing. I don't have Rachel Maddow's paycheck. I'm not paid to lie to you. Yeah. The only kickbacks I get is from the jurisdictionary course, and I wouldn't recommend it if it wasn't valuable. I just wouldn't do it. I only recommend things that I think are valuable. Right now, I bought an AquaCure machine. I'm going to try it out, and if it helps my health in some way, I'm going to let you know. And if it doesn't, I'll just keep a lid on it. All right, I'm going off. So hopefully that helps, and share this with everybody. And I don't always look at the comments, because frankly, I'm afraid someone's going to say something mean to me, and I don't want it to ruin my day. So try to say something nice, and I'll interact with you guys. Okay. Have a wonderful rest of your day, week, month, year, all that good stuff. Take care. Thank you for watching. Comment below. Don't forget, you can, if you want, subscribe, like, or subscribe, or hit the bell. Hit the bell if you want to get the alerts. I don't know if, I just started this channel, so I don't know if it's shadow banned yet, but I'm trying not to get to that level. And it's a free country, so you can do whatever you want. It's a free country. I mean, it's only free if you make it free. So we're trying to get free.